success. I always say it's great. So we have the Nigerian players. We talk about them in the news, but it's best if they're on the news for the right reasons, not from some kind of controversial issues, because it does not really speak well for them. And Tolu have been, thank God Tolu is speaking out, because it was a one-sided, report we had just coming from the Wolves, maybe from some journalists that covered that particular training section. But we thank God we're hearing from him now, so we can now be able to now balance the facts. But we wish him success, whatever the case is. We wish him success. All right, let's talk about CAF and the bid to host the 2032 Nations Cup. Now, CAF is turning everything around. After 2032, the AFCON, yes, that is the males football African Cup of Nations, will now be happening after every 4 years, just like the World Cup. Now, we are having the AFCON happening next year, 2027, hosted by 3 nations. Then we'll have on that AFCON rather in 2000. I think we'll have another AFCON in 2028. Then, same way before we then move to 2032, where with AFCON will now be happening after every 4 years. Now, the menus will be Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, have submitted a joint bid to host the 2032 African Cup of Nations, second to bring the tournament to the Sahel region. Now, this is one big talking point. The 3 countries are all governed by military-led administrations. They say the proposal is based on solidarity, regional integration, and sustainable development of African football. Now, CAF president and the man they call Matrispi said the bid will be considered like others, but warned that security, infrastructure, and fan safety guarantees will be key factors in the decision. Yeah, we'll see what happens around that. This is one of those big talking points when many will say, don't mix politics with football, don't mix politics with sports. Now, we're having these 3 nations, which of course had the coup and have military administrators in charge of their government. And some will ask the questions if it would be fair for CAF to give them the hosting rights to host the Nations Cup in 2032. Now, it's going to be a very, very big talking point, whether this should be done or whether CAF should then look for other hosts. But one of the big issues CAF has been having in the last 8 to 10 years is having nations that are ready to host the Nations Cup. Now, it sounds really ridiculous, but that's the reality. Currently, there is still the big issue around, the host of next year Nations Cup, because by this time next year, we should have been back from the Nations Cup that will be happening in Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. Now, we're already having issues around where those countries can be able to meet up with what CAF standard. There are different stadia around their countries, but that is a big issue. The only country that have been able to, meet up to CAF standard when it comes to having the right stadia in different parts of their country has been Morocco. And that's why Morocco has been the beautiful bride of African football for a very long time. In the last, maybe it's home, so like the last 6 to 7, 8 years. And now having nations say, okay, we want to host the Nations Cup, I think CAF should, to a great extent, should give the chance to these guys to host it, because CAF had complained. I think when we were in Morocco earlier this year, one of the issues the CAF president raised was the fact that most nations are shying away from hosting the Nations Cup. So if we have 3 countries coming together, why not? Now, this also brings the question and raise the deep questions around Nigeria. Why can Nigeria not host the Nations Cup? And just big talking points, and I can tell you from now to tomorrow why we cannot host, from the fact that we don't have the right stadia around the country. As currently in Nigeria, the only CAF approved, yes, you heard me right now, CAF approved stadium would be that of Uyo. And some will say, oh, maybe Uyo and one other, but right now it's only Uyo. I don't know if any other have joined the list, Uyo. So imagine hosting a CAF tournament. We have to spend money building several stadia around the country. Beyond that, we also talk around the talking points around the fact that the security issues in Nigeria, these are big issues around why Nigeria cannot just host the AFCON for now. But let's see what happens. 3 nations coming together around the Sahel region is a big story, and let's see what happens around that. All right, from what's happening around CAF and I'm getting hosting right, let's move to the next story and let's talk about what's happening. Something interesting is happening in the transfer window where we are seeing players are making the big move. Now, making those big move has been those big, talking points around where we see our players taking a necessary move is the transfer window. I said yesterday that the World Cup is over, and what we need next will be players taking a move from one club to another. And this has been, that big talking point. And It's just happening everywhere. But before we talk about players moving, let's talk about what's happening around the International Federation of Football history and statistics. I talk about the IFFHS, which have named Messi and not Rodri as the best player at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And the International Federation of Football Association believe that the man they call talk about Messi deserved to win the award. Now, after the game between Argentina and Spain, Rodri had got the award. But the IFFHS award contradicts FIFA's Golden Ball award, which went to Rodri. And this is one of those major talking points and where many are wondering what's really happening. This has brought a lot of debates, but I think I can break this down for you. And I keep on saying this. Football is just beyond scoring goals, right? And as I always say, we have different setup in the game. We have those who play as the strikers, those who play as the midfielders. And we can't continue living in the era whereby only those that win the awards are the strikers. Some will argue and say the midfielder deserves to win it. Because if you look at the fact, why did Rodri win this particular award? It's very, very simple. Many will use the fact that Rodri played a pivotal role in the midfield of the Spaniards. Now, many take on the fact that, yes, we saw no goals going, just one goal in the whole tournament, and for many, that was a very, very big one. So look at that big story around the fact that nothing really, really happened around the goal scoring. One goal only for against Spain, and one man was helped that, which is Rodri. So he deserves it. But there will always be sentiments when it comes to awards. Awards can never go and everybody's, this person deserves it. These are one of the talking points we've left from the World Cup, but the World Cup is over. But those talking points will still continue, whether Rodri deserves to win it or the man they call Messi. Still around the World Cup. The World Cup is over. Let's go to the World Cup team of the year. FIFA officially released the World Cup team of the year, or World Cup team of 2026. Where FIFA released that very, very interesting list. I've got many people also talking. It might be a bit controversial. What we have, let's look at the list. Where we have Vozinha, the goalkeeper of Cape Verde in the post. Yeah, Porro. Yes, and the Spanish man is also there. We have Martinez, Argentina. Manu man is there. Got injured in the final and got injured. I think it wasn't the final. Got injured. We have Opicano got injured in the final. Opicano is also there. The French international. Cucurella, the Spaniard is on the list. We have Olise. Yes, the Michael Olise man from the French midfielder is the midfield. Rodri, who won the Golden Boy Award, is in the midfield. Jude Bellingham was on super fire, giving assists and several goals. He makes the FIFA team of the tournament. We also have Kylian Mbappe. Yes, so many goals. He's already on hot and super fire. We can't wait to see him play for Real Madrid. And Erin Highland, the Norway man, the Vikings man, doing so well and still made the list. And we have Messi. Yes, and Messi also on that particular list is one very, very interesting one. Now, debates around this list again. Some believe that Kobayashi, the man who plays for Spain, was meant to be among the defenders on the list. But as I always say, there must always be talking points around which player is not on the list, and this is one of those major things when we talk about football that always happen. As I always say, we must always have those important debates, which is definitely just for sure. Now let's look at what is happening around this interesting deal from Arsenal. I'll talk about the man they call Christo Tzolis. The deal has been confirmed where he has moved to Arsenal for 40 million pounds, 40 million euros, as Arsenal have completed the first signing of the upcoming season. The man they call Tzolis is signed from Club Brugge, and he'll be with them until 2031. The Greek winger replaces Leandro Trossard, who joined Betis. Interesting one to see from the Gunners building up on what many will call a great season for them, winning the EPL. This time around, their target will be very simple. Let's get a treble, let's get the Champions League, and maybe let's cruise also with the EPL. That will be what we'll be talking about. I'm talking about the EPL. Let's talk about the EPL. The EPL World Cup tournament of the team. Now, the debate around, yes, several EPL players did so well in the World Cup, and this time around we have the list where the Premier League have officially released the players, and we have Pickford, We have Porro, we have Romero, we have Martinez, we have Spence, we have Rodri, we have Enzo Fernandez. Yes, deserves to be on that list. We have Addison, we have Sarri, we have Highland, and we have Saka making the Premier League World Cup 2026 first 11. I think no much debate around that one. I think that particular one, many would agree that most of those players did so well for their countries in the World Cup. And the great thing is when your team, your country does well, and of course the league is proud of them. I'm talking about the league is proud of them. Very, very soon the EPL would start, and we'll see these players give us their best, give us a real great football. And for many of us, we can't just wait to see that. And wait to see what will happen around Barcelona will be the next talking point. Adeyemi is a Barcelona player. Now, the club has confirmed, Barcelona have confirmed the 2022 million euros deal plus 7 million add-ons and a sell-on clause for German winger to join Barcelona from Borussia Dortmund. Now, Adeyemi signs a 5-year deal at Barca. His dream move also was approved by Hansi Flick, where Karima Adeyemi will be that big man to help the striking force of the club. The call talk about Barcelona, of course, wish him success. Barcelona will be hoping to have a great season like last season in the La Liga, where he did so well, and the target will be trying to see if they can also do well in the Champions League. And Adeyemi will come with the firepower. He has the whole space, and when he has the pace, he has to do all those running and everything. And so many will expect Adeyemi to come in with a great football. For many, this is a big addition to the Barcelona team. I'm still talking transfer. It's really busy in the transfer window. But this time around, as many Man U fans will be asking, oh, what happened to him? We thought he would do well in Chelsea. Garnacho. Yes, Garnacho is the next man we're talking about, where he has moved down to Aston Villa on loan. Garnacho will be part of the Aston Villa team. And for many people, this is very, very interesting. Many expect Garnacho to get his football in Chelsea, when many Man U fans were happy after they moved. But he will join the former Arsenal coach, the Aston Villa current coach Unai Emery, where many will expect the man called Garnacho to be at his best. Someone asks, what's at his best? Help the team they call Aston Villa. Aston Villa obviously doing very well in the last 4 to 5 seasons. Thanks to the magical man who is in charge of the team, who have turned the fortune of the team. And many are talking about the fact that Aston Villa are now competitive, and it's fair to call Aston Villa among the top 7 teams in the league currently. So for Garnacho, it's a big move for him. I wish him success. Hopefully he gets his football where there, and maybe he returns back to the club they call Chelsea. And let's go to where many will call the favorite part of the show. Maybe for some, what is trending now? The World Cup is over, but some trending things around the World Cup, or trending views around the World Cup. But this time around, looking at something very interesting, where Pedro Porro's granddad drove him thousands of miles as a child to training and matches, helping him chase his dream of becoming a footballer. Now, yesterday, Porro returned home and gave his granddad the World Cup winners medal. And of course, this is very, very interesting. And he used the word mission accomplished. Of course, mission accomplished for this particular man. Is happy for his happy for his his son, his grandson. And for many people, this is very, very interesting. And still, what is trending? Maduka Okoye is still having that, enjoying himself very, very well this period, where Maduka Okoye is he was seen with the Cardi B. Yeah, Cardi B. And many are talking about the fact, what's going on? Nigeria's fine boy goalkeeper is everywhere, and this particular video is trending on social media, where Maduka Okoye was with Cardi B, in the vacation in Italy last week. And this is really, really trending. We have been seeing him around different celebrities, and we are proud of Maduka Okoye. Make us proud outside the field and on the